Okay, we are recording. Welcome to Transfer SOAR. My name is Philip Simpson. I'm the Director of Student Affairs for the School of Nursing, and this is the SOAR Nursing Interest Transfer Session. We'll be covering quite a bit of information, so I'll try to go through rather quickly. I want to start off by, I want to share a picture with some of you guys. In case you haven't set foot on campus, we've got, there it is. This was probably taken in the last 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a little bit longer. This is the new nursing instruction building, and we should have the advising location of our advising office down in this area. But anyway, we're excited. This building is supposed to be ready for us to move into later this year, November, December range, and we hope to be fully operational in there for the spring 2021 semester. 180,000 square foot, state-of-the-art facility, simulation labs. I mean, anyway, we are extremely excited about this. So I want to show that to you guys in case you were wondering what's new around here. I'm going to go ahead and go through a presentation on the nursing program, and here we go. All right, let's see if I can get this thing running. And all right, we are off. Okay, so this presentation is usually a joint presentation with both School of Nursing and School of Health and Human Sciences. As many of you may be aware, when you're admitted to UNCG, you're admitted as a pre-health studies student with Health and Human Sciences. And the reason we do that is because we have a formal admission process for the upper division program, the Bachelor of Science in Nursing program. And until you are admitted formally to our program, most students are in what's kind of like a holding pattern with the pre-health studies concentration. Anyway, once admitted to the program, we invite students to well, this actually takes place after summer. Summer session, students who are admitted to our nursing program take 2 courses, Nursing Fundamentals and Nursing Assessment, over the summer session. When they return in the fall, this is a picture of our coding ceremony. So this was one of our recent classes who was admitted. And during that ceremony, faculty coat each student with their lab coat. And it's more or less kind of a presentation to welcome the students as they embark on their nursing profession. Okay, so I'm going to go through a couple things here. Go through the word nurse. Disclaimer, I am not a nurse, but this is kind of what we put together as a way to, what we see is important for students who are pursuing nursing to embody. The first word, the first letter nurse is in, and that's the need to take ownership. You want to come in and be prepared to hit the ground running. And that includes knowing your student ID number, going ahead and setting up your UNCG accounts, including your UNCG email account. That is how we communicate with you. You're going to want to meet with your advisor, and most of that's been done for many of you already. Some of you have met with Britt Flanagan in the School of Nursing. Some students may have met with Jennifer Clark in Health and Human Sciences. But the important thing is you need to meet with your advisor in order to get signed up for your fall courses. Always, always, always plan ahead a semester or 2 so you know what comes next. And look at the academic calendar. Know what the dates are that you need to be aware of. Payment deadlines, add drop dates when you're able to perhaps drop a course without academic penalty. These are all important dates to know. And some of you may not be familiar with this, but you can sign up for tutoring once you get your full schedule. Actually, once you get your schedule. If you're in, let's say you signed up for anatomy for the fall, you can sign up for tutoring on UNCG's website and request tutoring for up to 2 of your classes per semester. So you could have tutoring for the entire semester for anatomy and tutoring the entire semester for statistics, for instance. The key is that you want to be proactive and kind of take control. The second letter, U, urgency. You hear a lot of this word thrown around. In fact, I've sent out emails titled, subject line is urgent. Like, I need to hear from you, or urgent, you haven't signed up for your advising appointment. And for those students who get into the program, sometimes they'll get an urgent message that their annual TB is coming due, or it's time to get their flu vaccination. Some of the other words that jump out, I'll get to that in a second. I felt the need to put some quotes here for some reason, but I like them. You need to identify what's important and act with a sense of urgency. That's always true, especially when you're pursuing nursing. There's a lot of background noise. You got to cut through that, know what the requirements are that need to be focused on, and act accordingly. Take action that will move you towards your goals. And I always like this guy, you know, Master Yoda, do or do not. There is no try. Some of the other words we see with our nursing students, especially the students who are in the program, they seem to have this determination, a persistence, a passion for nursing. Persistence is a word I see a lot because a lot of our nursing students maybe stumble out of the gates, especially with maybe one of their first science courses. You know, anatomy may have thrown someone for a loop and they pulled a big fat C. Well, a C is not going to cut it for nursing school. So some students have gone back to replace that grade and retake the course. And I've seen a number of students come back strong with an A in that first science course. After stumbling the first time, they come back and repeat it and earn that solid A. So having that persistence, being able to roll with the punches, you got to be thick-skinned if you're pursuing nursing. And I put stress on here, stress in the sense that, you know, some stress in your life is good. For instance, knowing that you have a final exam coming up in a class that's been a real bear for you, but you've got 2 to 3 weeks to prepare, versus, hey, the final exam is tomorrow and I haven't even opened the book. That's a different kind of stress. Some stress is good. It keeps you on task. Know the requirements are requirements. You know, this is probably too many courses to list on this little screen, but these are out on our website. These are what we call as the nursing prerequisite or nursing cognate courses. Many students transfer in and already have AMP1, AMP2, and microbiology. Well, I put AMP1 and AMP2 in parentheses for nursing. We can accept AMP1 as equivalent to anatomy. We can accept AMP2 as equivalent for physiology. If you talk to someone in the biology department, they will tell you, nope, sorry, we can't take those both to count for both anatomy and physiology. But if you get into the nursing program, into the upper division, we will gladly do substitutions for those courses for you. If you have not taken principles of biology yet, and you still have either anatomy, physiology, or microbiology, any of those three on your plate to take, then you're going to have to definitely take principles of biology first. That's biology 111. For those of you who have already taken AMP1, AMP2, and microbiology, congratulations. You don't need to take principles of biology, okay? Principles of biology is the prerequisite to be able to get into our version of anatomy, physiology, and micro. Okay, we also need 2 levels of chemistry and at least 1 chemistry lab. Many of you may have taken developmental psychology. If not, you can take either developmental psychology or HDF 211, which is lifespan development here at UNCG. We want a general psychology, an intro to social class, or a general anthropology. Statistics is the only math requirement we have. Some schools want you to take pre-calc. We don't require that. We require statistics. And we also want a nutrition course and some kind of either ethics, medical ethics, or contemporary moral problems. Those are our main prerequisite courses to get into our program. And we really want you to have as many of these out of the way by the time you apply. Okay? All right. Success, S, success. Success mostly in the sciences is what look, if you're doing really well in your science courses, you're probably doing well or have done well in your other courses. The sciences are the courses that really kind of make or break you when it comes to nursing. And we're very upfront about this. For some of you, this may be the first time you're hearing this, but we want you to really apply yourself really hard and really well in these courses. I got a little carried away with the letter S here, but the point of it is a lot of these science courses are difficult, and it often takes additional support for you to be successful in them. I think I spelled that out pretty easily there. We have a program here, and if you're, some of the prior institutions you may be coming from had similar support services. It's called supplemental instruction. So for instance, there is a anatomy. I'll use anatomy as an example. Let's say physiology would be another good one. Let's say you're struggling in physiology and you know it ahead of time. You're going to struggle in it. Well, you can go to supplemental instruction. This is where they hire a successful student that has had that class before to audit the course with you guys. And so what they do is that student during the course of that week will hold 2 to 3 sessions. And I kind of refer to it as like a group study hall almost, but it gives you the opportunity to come by and to meet informally as a group to go over some of the more difficult material that was covered in the lecture that week. So that's a great strategy to use. Sometimes study groups will form out of those supplemental instruction classes. A lot of times you look around the room and you start noticing some of the same people. A lot of times these are people that are also pursuing nursing. They tend to go to these sessions. A lot of times, well, if they're going to this, they're probably serious about earning good grades. So let me get to know this person and maybe we can form a study group together. Tutoring, you get up to 2, I mentioned earlier, 2 classes per semester, but you have to sign up for it. This isn't something they track you down for. You have to sign up for it and attend. So any of these strategies, whatever it takes, you do not have to get A+ in these classes. In fact, you can't get A+. We don't offer A+ anymore. The highest you can get is an A. The reason I keep this in here is I want you to strive for A's in those 4 classes. And if you fall a little short, you earn a B or a B+ or an A-, overall, you're probably going to be okay. But the committee, when you apply, is looking for very strong grades in these science courses. Okay. E, I had to come up with a letter for the end of the word nurse. E, excellence. Strive for excellence. This is a great quote. I love this quote. This is the only reason I pulled this quote out is because I've been here for 9 years and I've worked with a lot of prospective nursing students, and the students who, it just keeps kind of bubbling up to the surface. They tend to have this attitude, that they're going to do whatever it takes to be successful. So I like this quote. Excellence is not a skill, it is an attitude. All right, so the application process to the upper division, extremely competitive. We do this, we only admit once a year. February 1st is our deadline. We open the applications every December 1st. So December 1st through February 1st is the application period. We need your transcripts, your application, and your TEAS score. The TEAS test is a pre-admission nursing test. It stands for the Test of Essential Academic Skills. And there's all kinds of guidebooks out there that you can find. The score is not due to us till February 1st, so you have plenty of time to take the test. Don't rush out and do it today. But you have to be formally admitted to the school, and we do it through this competitive admission process. GPA is very important, absolutely. 3.6 range and higher. And I hate to break the news to some of you. When you show up to UNCG, yes, at the university, your GPA, it's a clean slate. For nursing, we need to see your transcripts from where you've come in from. All college level coursework we look at. And when we factor in GPA, it's both transfer and GPA earned at UNCG when we come up with where you probably need to be, okay? And I'm not kidding, 3.6 range and higher. The average GPA of the group we just admitted, the 100 seats we just awarded, was a 3.78 GPA overall, average. Last year's group was a 3.83. The year before that was a 3.76. The average T-scores have been running just shy of 85. Do you have to have that average to get in? No. But I've seen students get in with 3.4 overall GPAs with strong science grades, B+, A-, 84 on the T's. So, you know, each of your situations are different, and you'll be able to reach out to myself or Britt Flanagan in the office, and we can work with you to figure out what your pathway is for each of you. But anyway, this is, yeah, okay. And I already did that. How many times do you want to see it? I got it up there twice. Okay. So, you know, we talk about backup plans. We're very upfront about this. We want students, when they're applying, to not only consider our program, but also to look at other nursing programs that are out there, including 4-year and 2-year institutions. We have 100 community colleges in the state, and we have some awesome ADN, I should say, ADN programs, Associate's Degree in Nursing programs out there. My perspective is, and I hear this from a lot of students, well, I want to be a 4-year degree nurse, a BSN nurse. Okay, I hear you. But ultimately, what is your goal? What kind of profession do you want to do? I want to be an RN is what I hear. And so then my next question is, what are the different pathways to becoming an RN? And then we talk about associate's degree programs, and I always hear, well, I hear it's not that employers want BSNs. Yeah, true, but they also want RNs, and you cannot work as a nurse unless you have those initials after your name. So we're very, we have some great relationships with our local community colleges across the state. And we have an RN to BSN completion program. So if you go to, let's say you apply to 3 different schools and you only get 1 yes, and it happens to be Guilford Tech or Forsyth Tech or Alamance or, Gaston College or Central Piedmont. Well, if that's your yes, and that's a direct pathway you become a nurse, I say take it, because you can get through that program. You can work full-time as a nurse, and then you can do an RN to BSN completion program like we offer here. It's a 3-semester RN to BSN program. It's blended delivery, so you do come face-to-face about once every 2 to 3 weeks, but it allows you to work full-time as a nurse while you're completing your BSN requirements. So we have about 175 to 250 students every semester in that program, okay? So be open to it, consider it. And again, those programs are competitive as well. Now, if you're at UNCG, we have to talk about what other options are here outside of nursing as well. There's lots of health professions out there. So, you're going to find out, and I'll go to some of the next slides. This just talks about know your deadlines. And yes, we admit 100 students each year. We get about 200 to 225 applications each year, so about half. Okay, and and we could get a lot more if we weren't upfront with people. We just, we want to help you. I don't want you, I always joke it's blood, sweat, tears, and money. It's true. Getting into nursing, you have to be thick-skinned. It takes a lot of work, hard work. It takes money. And if our program is not a good fit for you, I want to have that conversation as soon as possible and help you find a program that is. And if nursing's not a fit for you right now, it's not a forever thing. So just know what the requirements are, know where you stand, and take a good hard look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I in line to be admitted to one of these nursing programs? If not, we do a lot of work with our students, and they work with the Health and Human Sciences program here. Human development, family studies, social work, therapeutic recreation is a certification program. There's all kinds of avenues into working in healthcare besides nursing, where you can still help people. And so I bring these slides up because it's worth mentioning, and I want you to have access to this. Again, we want you to be successful, whether that's with nursing or at UNCG in a different major, okay? Or getting into nursing somewhere else. Don't tell admissions I said that. But if you're going to get into nursing school and we don't have a spot for you, but you get offered somewhere else, I'm going to wish you the best and congratulate you because you've achieved your goal. Nutrition, kinesiology, you can see some of the different areas you can work with that major, okay? Public health education. I think that's a pretty big deal right now. I think there'll be lots of opportunities going forward after we get through, this little scenario we're dealing with. It's not little, but I don't mean to make light of it, but it's a big deal, and public health education will be a great major to consider for some folks who still want to work with the community in a health type setting. Speech pathology, audiology, anyway. All right, so one thing to point out, alternative majors that are offered here and alternative nursing programs as well. You'll find that most of the courses you're going to be taking will meet those requirements for those other majors, for other nursing programs. So, find out the common courses that are important for you to take and keep your options open. Okay. There is one class we have here at UNCG, and I believe there's also a 200 level version of this, but this is a great class for folks who want to kind of explore what their, interests are and who they really want to be and what they want to find, what kind of work they want to do in life. This Knowing Your Why video, I'll let you guys track that down later. It is definitely worth watching. It's very powerful message. I think we've seen it here probably, I think I've seen that thing probably 30 to 40, maybe 50 times, and I love it every time. So I encourage you to watch that. It's about 3.5 minutes long. It's very impactful. Okay, so I hope I didn't discourage any of you because I'm pretty straight up with my speech, but we're excited to have you. We're here to support you. You've got to take advantage of the resources. You're paying tuition and fees here. Take advantage of the resources that are available to you. So let me back out of this so I can go full screen. And I will also be making reference in your Canvas group. There'll be a couple forms in there. One of them's more for family members and parents that want to be supported, but also there's some useful information on there for the adult students who are transferring in, links to or reference to the different resources. We also talk a little bit about the GPA requirements on the sheet. And then there's another form that's the 4-year sample plan of study. Now it's going to be hard to match that up with each of you. I mean, I can only speak about it just making reference to it because each of your situations are different. Each of you are transferring different courses in. I would encourage you to find a copy of that 4-year plan and play the cross-off game. So if hey, I've had English Composition 1, you can mark off English 101. Or I've had General Psychology, you can mark off Psychology 121. Or I took Developmental Psychology, I can mark off HDF 211. Okay, so we will certainly be in touch with you, and I wish you the best. Please let us know if you have any questions. You can reach me at Philip, that's 1L, _Simpson, SIMPSON, at uncg.edu. I look forward to working with you, and I will be here if you need me. All right. Thank you.